we like to pride ourselves in our contribution to artificial intelligence and its governance, because it's quite important. There's a lot of people who are quite apprehensive and want to distance themselves from even promoting AI because of the dangers that could come out of its use, its unethical and irresponsible use. But then so that makes it important for us to be able to govern the space, govern minds before they actually develop AI solutions and innovations. And so AI governance has been one of our major topics that we've dealt with. And AI governance basically refers to a framework of policies, ethical principles, and practices designed to guide the responsible and ethical development, deployment, and management of AI systems. And just to ensure that human rights are protected and democratic values are also upheld in high esteem, and then we don't go breaking laws just to innovate, and that we take into cognizance even cultural values. And so I think Donald was making a joke, but it's actually quite important that the AI that is developed in our countries and in our continents reflect the countries that they are being built in. And so when you are using some mapping device or mapping tool, or even if it's one of these taxi hailing services, it's quite annoying to hear them, the sound or the AI voice in there mention Ghanaian communities wrongly. You'd want to hear it's mentioned Alogboshi or Agbogloshi as a Ghanaian would mention it. And that is actually us having our culture represented in the digital world. And so this is what we are talking about: ethical AI, representative AI, inclusive AI. And that is what AI governance stands for. And that is what we've been working on all over these years. So as part of Fair Forward's activities in Africa, we have a network called the Africa Asia AI Policymaker Network, which is a network of policymakers in Africa and Asia who meet on a yearly basis to deliberate on AI policy development and strategy development and stuff like that. So through that, we have supported the development and adoption of AI strategies in a number of countries. So on the African continent, and then also there are a number of countries also in the process of doing that. So far, we have Rwanda's AI policy being one of such documents that came out of the AAA POMANET, Kenya's AI strategy also being one, and Ghana being one of the countries that drafted ours first. We are also on the road to get to that. As well as, initially I mentioned that we are also in the process, or we are also very passionate about AI governance. And so in various countries that we work in, we've actually developed documents. So my colleagues in South Africa have developed the Artificial Intelligence Maturity Assessment Framework for South Africa. Kenya has a practitioner's guide. And Ghana, we supported Ghana to develop its AI strategy. And currently, we are launching Ghana's AI practitioner's guide. Right. The guide is supposed to contribute to supposed to be a resource for ethical development and deployment of AI in Ghana. And so one of the things that I'm most proud about is how it was developed. It could have just been perhaps given to one person to just sit in their room and write something and produce. But then we actually went through the more difficult route of bringing on board different experts, people who have expertise in their fields and years of experience, and also understand AI and its development, to come together to work in silos and then as a team to be able to develop this. And you would imagine when smart people come together to do something, there will be a lot of conflict here and there, and then trying to push your idea here and there. But then through it all, we've been able to manage that process and produce a document that I think would be very beneficial to the country. One of such outstanding, or just it looked like a normal event, but then it made quite an impression on me, was that anytime I think of responsible AI or ethical AI, I'm always thinking of data protection, human rights, and stuff like that. But after one of our workshops, there was one of the experts that we dealt with who was part of the team, Nana Defie from the NCA. She called me and then she told me that, have we considered adding anything on the Electronic Transactions Act? And I had to pretend like I've heard it before, but I hadn't. So I let her lecture me on its importance on AI. And imagine if she wasn't in a team. I know somebody might have come up with it, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't have been the one. So it's just coming together as a team of people who have expertise in different spaces, just contributing towards the development of this practitioner's guide. Now, I just want to highlight the inclusivity in the team that brought together this document. Along the lines of gender, we had quite good contributions from both men and women, and also even along the lines of ability and disability, we had Emmanuel, who was one of the who actually wrote one of the chapters on the development and deployment of AI. He's actually a visually impaired person, and he actually made a lot of contributions in that. Then along the lines of representing every region in Ghana, we actually went out and then engaged the Ghana Tech and Business Hubs Network, which have tech hubs all over the country, just to understand the regional perspectives in various regions in Ghana, what is happening there in AI, and what are some of the things that they are looking out for in a document like this. Then when it comes to the experts who actually worked on this, there are people coming from different professional backgrounds: academia, industry, law, development cooperation, entrepreneurship ecosystem, multinational companies, research, and government. So, I mean, all of our efforts have culminated into producing a document that I want to believe will be a marker or a point of reference and resource for everybody who wants to develop and deploy AI in Ghana in an ethical
manner. So, as we all know, artificial intelligence is being used widely, and all of a sudden, in quite recent years, we've had something now I would like to call the generative AI boom, where generative AI has been all over the place with ChatGPT and Gemini and other LLMs, right? And so it has necessitated a lot of or it has developed. Because of that, we've had a lot of discussions around how do we govern artificial intelligence, meaning that how do we put in place the right frameworks and then the right resources to ensure that we manage it and it doesn't affect human lives negatively, but rather contributes to sustainable development of the country. And so for this reason, we came up with this project to be able to support Ghana with a resource that can actually be like a reference point for the sustainable and responsible AI development in the country, which means that developing AI in a way that adheres to human rights principles and also democratic values, and also takes into cognizance the existing frameworks in the tech and then digital space, and also even on the human rights level. So that's basically why we have developed this. The guide is such that it's supposed to be like a resource for anybody who wants to go into artificial intelligence in Ghana. And so we start off by giving an introduction, giving you a bit of a history of where AI development in Ghana and also presently where we are. And then we also take you into the legal frameworks that exist, the Data Protection Act, Electronics Transaction Act, and other existing frameworks that govern the space, so that you'll be able to understand it and know that if you're going to deploy or develop an AI tool in the country, you'd have to adhere to all of these existing frameworks. Then we go on to talk about AI's development and deployment in the Ghanaian context, what it means, and some steps you need to follow to be able to develop a tool that will be beneficial to Ghanaians. We also look at use cases in Ghana, and then also relevant AI tools that you can use. We go on to look at education, then we look at the entrepreneurship landscape, how you can access funding, what you should know before you actually put out an AI tool as an entrepreneur. Then finally, we crown it all with AI and then sustainability, understanding the impact of AI on the sustainable development of the country and then the world at large. So basically, that's in a nutshell, that's what the guide is about. Usually people refer to it as the lifeblood of AI. Literally, it's like the fuel. Without data, we don't have AI. And so for me, my concerns about artificial data and AI is that we should actually work together as a country to ensure that data is open and accessible to all in a way that people can innovate with. And so on the Fair Forward project that I work, we've worked on a number of data sets that we've opened up for people to have access to be able to innovate with. And some of them we've made available online already for people to download and do. So that's my concern, that data has to be accessible for everybody to use, and for researchers to use, for students to use, and for innovators to also build innovations out of, so that we have a country that is developing. And that is what has developed most of the tools that we see coming in from the West. You get it, that they have access to data and they're able to come up with innovations that impact lives and then transform people's lives. Particularly, I want Ghanaians to actually take responsible AI and an ethical AI very seriously. AI is a tool, it's like a knife. It's like a two-edged sword. It can cut you on the positive side and on the negative side. And so we have to put in the right frameworks to ensure that we don't use AI negatively in this country and exploit it in a way that people's lives will be put in danger. And so this is a tool or a resource that we've produced. The guide will help us develop AI responsibly so that it doesn't harm us eventually. And so people need to gain access to it. It will be free online. online for people to download and just use. So we want people to get access to it and then also let it be a guide in their advancement of their AI.
It has really been an honor to play this role. This guide represents not just the results of what you see, but it represents collaboration, as Ellie was saying. A diverse group of people came together and went through a thorough process to come up with this guide. And it's truly an honor to be part of this process. From the very beginning, we knew that we cannot do this unless we take into perspective the reflections of people from different parts of societies. I'm talking about practitioners, policymakers, industry leaders, academics, and civil society. In the past few months, we've been involved in convening experts, a dedicated group of experts who worked on this guide from start to end. We also engaged with stakeholders in terms of consultations, workshops, and surveys. We also drafted this with groups of people in different workshops, refined it based on feedback, and validated it against the needs and opportunities in the ecosystem. So we went through this thorough process to come up with a document that we believe is a resource that would serve as a reference point and a professional standard when it comes to AI in Ghana. However, it's not the policy. It's only a guide. But it's a guide that can provide direction for policy. It's a guide that can support academia when it comes to research, when it comes to training. It's a guide that can also help industry adopt or pivot. It also equips our partners, our practitioners, with the right framework that they'll need to do their AI applications in a responsible, ethical, and impactful way that is befitting of the Ghanaian. This guide bears your imprint. You have your names written all over it because everything in this guide is coming from you. So we celebrate not only a national resource, but the spirit of professionalism and collaboration that you, our experts and stakeholders, have exemplified. I believe you deserve a round of applause. So for us, this is not the end. Now that we have done it all, it's not the end. It's rather the beginning of a new chapter. The chapter of scrutinizing the guide, applying it, giving feedback, improving on it, and helping us use this guide, improve our AI applications across the country. I'd like to encourage you all to embrace this guide as it's unveiled to you, to give us feedback, and to always remember that the spirit of collaboration brought us here.
Heritage Labs have been given the responsibility to organize the development of the AI Practitioners Guide for Ghana. So we were in charge of bringing a pool of experts together and organizing various engagements, consultancies, workshops, and surveys with validation sessions and all, leading to the production and the development of this AI Practitioners Guide for Ghana. Yes, I perfectly agree with the guest speaker. Just as the Industrial Revolution, moving from mass production to tech, we are now moving from tech to a world of intelligent tech, where machines are getting just as smart as human beings. So we are now collaborating with machines on a head-to-head level. And this is the more reason why we need a guide. It's the more reason why we need some structure in place, because now your computer is no longer a computer. It's just as intelligent, if not more intelligent than you are. So For Ghana, and with all the ethics we have, we want to ensure that everything that is done in the AI space is regulated, ethical, and impactful. AI is creating jobs everywhere already, and I'm confident that with AI, even more jobs will be created, unlike those who think that we'll lose jobs because of AI. Because my farm assistant back in the village is now doing, videos with babies talking and speaking Ewe and saying all sorts of interesting adages that he's sharing with his friends. Yes, it's not a business yet, but this is a farmer who knew nothing about CGI or building, animations. But today is coupling things together with the help of AI to be the content creator of the village. So thinking about it positively, there should be a lot that can be done with AI in creating jobs. This guide would be an inspiration for policymakers, and one of the documents that policymakers would look at to be as a stepping stone into policy. Because the next step now is really to come up with a set of policies that will be useful in the AI space. And this guide would be one of the documents, one of the literature that would be leaned on.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,